Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for being with me here on Thursday, March 23rd. Some news for your Jacksonville Jaguars. According to Field Yates of ESPN, the Jaguars have restructured the contract of defensive lineman Foley Fatukasi by converting $7.375 million of his 2023 base salary into a signing bonus, creating $5.9 million in 2023 cap space. They added 3 void years to the back end of the contract to make that happen. What does all that mean? We're going to break it down right here, right now. I'd like to remind y'all to hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo and hit that like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Really appreciate the support, Duval. For me, for one, I'd say that this means that the Jaguars, they feel comfortable kicking some money, some cap money, down the road on Foley Fatukasi, which in my opinion probably means they see him in their 2-year plan. They see him being a part of the Jaguars not only through the 2023 season, but probably the 2024 season as well. And when you talk about Foley's play on the field, last year I think it was marred, slowed down a little bit, was Foley by his lower body injuries. Thought he came out in training camp and early part of the season, looked excellent for the Jaguars, especially as an impactful run defender. But I think, again, the lower body injuries slowed him down a bit in 2022. But the Jaguars, they want to be responsible with the future cap, right? Which is why you haven't seen even more pushing of the money down the road, which you have seen quite a bit, right? You've seen Foley, Foye Oluokun, 4 guys on the offensive side of the ball, I believe, in Evan Ingram. Well, no, Evan Ingram's on the franchise tag, excuse me. Brandon Sheriff, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. Might have been one more. But yeah, the Jaguars, they have pushed some money down the road so they can keep their current group together. But they don't want to push too much down the road in terms of cap space because they want to keep that cap healthy for the future. And it is healthy in 2024 and beyond, the Jaguars salary cap. They want to keep it that way for Trevor and the rest of the future signings that they'll need to make, and also have some flexibility with how they continue to build this roster over the next couple years. Field Yates is also reporting that the Jaguars have about $10.3 million in 2023 cap space. I do believe that includes the Foley Fatukasi restructure. But the situation here is I don't think that the 3 reported signings from yesterday, running back D'Ernest Johnson, defensive lineman Michael Dogba, and defensive lineman Henry Mondo, I don't think those have hit the books yet because I don't think they're official yet. The Jaguars have not announced those. They're not on overthecap.com. I believe that $10.3 million includes the Foley restructure, which again saved the Jaguars $5.9 million in 2023 cap space, getting them to 10.3. But I think you're going to see that number come back down a little bit after the Jaguars officially announce the signings of D'Ernest Johnson, Michael Dogba, and Henry Mondo. I would guess they're going to go ahead and make those official later today or tomorrow. None of those 3 deals is going to be major salary cap impact, but they will lower the cap a little bit. All 3, again, will be low-value signings in terms of how much they're impacting the cap and how much they're going to cost. But I do want to caution folks away. I've seen a few people talk about this on Twitter already. I want to caution you away from thinking or assuming that the Foley Fatukasi restructure is for some big impending move that they have coming down the pike. It is possible that this is part of a bigger plan, but more likely is that the Jaguars are using the Foley restructure to clear the cap space for those 3 reported moves yesterday, and they'll have also to sign those rookies from their rookie class down the road. Once the draft happens, they'll need to get them on the books as well. The rookies are likely to cost $9 to $10 million in cap space in 2023. So again, I don't know that it's impossible that the Jaguars go out and make a big move, but I think that this Foley restructure, moving some money down the road, some cap hit down the road for Foley, had to do with bringing in the 3 players that they plan on bringing in that were reported yesterday. Again, D'Ernest Johnson, Henry Mondo, and Michael Dogba. So for me, good stuff. Jaguars are operating in a different realm now than they have been over the last decade plus, right? They've got their entire starting lineup filled out nicely. 21 of 22 starters coming back. Jawan Taylor's the only starter that has vacated. Outside of nickel, I think you feel really good about your entire starting lineup. I think you still need a third edge rusher, which is not a starter, but I think you also still need a third offensive tackle. Again, not a starter. When you look at the starting lineup, what do the Jaguars have needs? There's not a lot of needs in the starting lineup. You need a nickel. You need a quality nickel, and that's about it when it comes to the starters. Can you still add to the depth of this roster? Can you still add young talent that can eventually become starters? Yeah. And could you still add a starter or someone who can compete to become a starter here or there in free agency? I think you could. I don't think they will, but I think you could. But again, I think they're in good shape here, and they could make a swing to upgrade over one of their current starters at some point in free agency, maybe. I kind of doubt it, though. They've had opportunities to do that already in free agency, and these opportunities, they haven't been like great costs. Like the free agency market hasn't been too wild. There's been a lot of corners, a lot of edge players that have been signed for very reasonable deals. So to me, I just don't think the Jaguars feel the need to try to upgrade many of the starting spots on their roster. Really, it's just going to be nickel. And my guess with how they've approached it so far with their current cap situation, again, is that the rest of their moves will be just fortifying depth. And then they're going to go into the draft. I think they're definitely going to address corner. I think they're definitely going to address edge. I think tight end, when you look at the bottom of the roster, you need more there. I think you need more at the bottom of the roster at offensive tackle as well. So those are some areas I'd be looking at the Jaguars to target over the next couple months, whether it be establishing depth in free agency or bringing in someone via the draft. But that'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in here to Duval Daily. Again, the Jaguars have restructured Foley Fatukasi, saving $5.9 million in 2023 cap space. Hope you guys enjoyed the content, enjoyed the show. Again, you can hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. You can follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Leave a comment in the comment section below. If you're on YouTube, if you're on your podcast platform of choice, please subscribe and review. Really helps us out. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, Duval.